welcome to the MBUK podcast. Today we've got Chris Akrigg in the studio, probably one of the world's best known trails riders, racked up millions of views on YouTube, some super impressive stuff, and of course socials popping off. Probably one of the most creative riders in the world, I'd say. You know, you've done videos on everything from fixies to brakeless bikes, trail bikes, e-bikes, sort of any bike out there you can hop around on. It's always impressive stuff. So yeah, absolute pleasure to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for that intro. Sounded really good then, didn't I?
I've been watching your stuff since, you started on YouTube, I think we were saying about 16, 17 years ago, and I think I've watched every single edit you've ever put out, always with not to big you up too much, but always so stoked when something new's come out. It's always been amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a funny one. I don't know why. I just recently been looking back at the old stuff. Yeah, and it's crazy how time flies, but I'm still enjoying riding. I like mixing it up, and I think that's been one of the factors in keeping it going so long. But yeah, riding different stuff, putting my spin on it. It's just it just keeps the old brain box going, doesn't it?
And you don't look any different. That's what's annoying. That's what's annoying for some of us. He has not aged.
Well, we just put this morning. You put a post on Instagram because it's 25 years since you had a cover on MBUK, and you're obviously in the studio today. And you do look, someone who's been on the cover 25 years ago. You look very similar. It's very impressive.
No, you didn't see me this morning when I got up. I had to walk down the stairs. I definitely, I was looking at that thinking, you know what, I knew I was coming on the show, so I was thinking, I wonder when the first cover I did. Well, I looked back and I was like, is that 2000? Really is 2000? I'm like, oh, that's 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a long old paper round, isn't it, that?
Yeah, it's impressive stuff.
It's really impressive.
And we're doing this podcast partly because obviously you just released Up and Over, so your latest edit, sponsored by Whyte Bikes, of course, who have also sponsored the podcast. And it's, we watched it this morning. It's really cool. It's slightly different to a lot of your... the videos you put out in the past. It's a bit more narrated, almost introspective at times, talking about the process of videos and filming and riding and flow and things. How did it sort of all come about?
Well, I think it's what we talked about off camera as well. It's just about no matter, I've been doing it a long time, and it's always hard to you can fall into that same format, which the video, I guess it is sort of a similar sort of format to what, but I thought just putting a little bit of voiceover just to give a bit of insight to, exactly that, a bit more insight into my riding and stuff, and about, my processes and, what makes me tick, I guess, and maybe what you should be looking for in your riding as well. I'd like to think that, to take it back, I think, obviously, when I was younger as well, I watched videos that inspired me to ride. And then when people say to me, I watched that video and it made me want to go out, and that's the greatest compliment I could get, ever get, really. If I'm doing that, getting people to go out and ride, it's that for me feels like that's great, because I wouldn't say, I looked up to people, but I'd never say that people look up to me, because that's not something I'd say. But it's if they're taking something on board, and even if they're taking a small amount of that on board and going out and, whereas they just ride a trail, maybe they'll just go off the trail a little bit and, explore a little bit, just, I don't know, take a little bit of that advice, or inspiration, should I say, and get somebody riding a bike. Yeah, it's what it's all about for me.
I'm just going to jump in. You're very humble. I think back to what we were saying at the start, I think anytime your vids came out, it would be one of the few times where we would crowd around the computer in the office to watch, because it was always kind of special. We knew there was going to be something different in there. And I don't think any one edit is kind of the same. I was looking through your back catalogue on your channel on YouTube earlier this morning, and it's just such a vast array of different types of riding, different terrains, different bikes. It's really cool how you've managed to sort of, I don't know, cover so much stuff.
Yeah, no wonder I'm tired, is it? No, I think, just back to what I just said, really, it's, for me, I was always excited to get a new or different bike sent, you've touched on, a fixie, did a bit of brakeless trial stuff, which was hilarious. Just kids BMX on one of my videos, and then obviously coming on jump forward e-bikes. It's that first time riding it, or them first couple of videos thinking, well, this is great now. It's yes, you do sort of do the same thing, but it's different.
That's You're sort of mastering a different skill, right?
Yeah, because obviously, you can't, I mean, like did a load of cyclocross gravel bikes, whatever they want to call them nowadays. Did a lot of that stuff, and it just like a little phase of that, and that was like mint. I was like really into that. And it's like, it's like when people say now, oh, you only ride e-bikes. Like, but when I was doing that, I was only riding like cyclocross bikes off, or fixies for a good chunk of time, or like we spoke about off camera as well, like downhill. I rode downhill for a little while, and that's all I rode. I didn't do anything else. I was just riding my downhill bike, and a proper one. Proper triple clamp forks and all that jazz, proper helmet and all that malarkey, goggles,
The lot.
Downhill rider.
Yeah. So I guess you're in a quite unique position where you're able to kind of experiment and do these sorts of things then. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, it is. I mean, the fact that I do it that's my job, and obviously I've got backing, from an awesome bike brand, and I have, access to different bikes, and spares and everything, which a lot of people don't have. So yeah, I'm in a unique position, but then even if you've got all that, you still need to be able to like come up with ideas and actually, follow it through. It's not you can't delegate these things,
No.
It's like if something's got to be done, it's like, it's only me that's going to do it,
Do you struggle for inspiration ever? Or is it, you've always got something sort of ticking over, do you think?
I don't think I really do. I've always been quite self-motivating, even to go riding. I ride a lot on my own, so I think that's, well, pretty much always ride on my own because nobody wants to ride with me.
Well, if anyone's seen Up and Over, some of the stuff you're riding, I'm not sure I would go.
Yeah, I mean, like,
be involved.
I enjoy riding with people, and that's we just go for a laugh, and it's all that. But like some people, it's been hilarious sometimes when I've taken people out and just like looked behind me after the first 10 meters and they're on their ass.
Yeah. We were speaking about Steve Jones off camera, a friend of ours, and I've seen some of the videos you've done with Steve where he is, I think, just in awe of some of the ways in which you'll approach. Like, Steve's a really good rider.
He is a really good rider.
He's a really good trails rider.
Yeah.
So he'll look at something maybe in a similar sort of vein to you, but yours generally has a bit of a twist to it. And I just, having watched some of those videos and seeing Steve's reaction and spoken to Steve about it, it's really interesting to hear what it's like to go riding with you.
Yeah, it's interesting going with that because he does pick up stuff that I don't really pick on sometimes in my own riding.
Okay.
Because he'll point something out, or he'll do his piece to camera and say this and this, and I'll just like, did I? Is that what I do? No, yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I've been riding a long time, and I was saying, talking to somebody yesterday about it, and I feel like it's sort of, for me, I feel it's really good to have like all the like little bit, all that, the idiosyncrasy stuff about my riding, like switch and all that sort of stuff that I like to be able to take on terrain, like really heavy terrain, and feel pretty confident in like being able to tackle it as well.
Right.
I mean, that's just a level thing, that the weekend warrior, or the guy that only goes out for an hour, he's doing the same thing, but just on a different level, because it's like everything, isn't it? He's tackling that, so that's his hardest thing. And when I'm tackling my hardest thing, it looks different, but mentally it's the same thing.
Yeah.
With Up and Over, like, it's a lot of the stuff that I've seen of yours more recently is probably a bit more woodsy, sort of hopping over trees and stuff. But Up and Over is very much out in the open, big boulder fields. Like, where were you shooting it, and how did you find that location?
We shot in Arran.
Okay.
Isle of Arran.
West coast of Scotland.
Yeah, we were sort of thinking Scotland, but then that's so expansive. I don't really know Scotland very well. I know friends up there and stuff, and I've shot a Red Bull project there quite a long time ago. They'd done a lot of research and spent a lot of time on it, so that we were able to just go. They just sent me like, a load of images and videos and said we were going to go to these locations. I was like, yeah, it looks good to me, but we didn't really have that sort of time and, like that backing really. So Arran's always like that. They say it's like a condensed version of Scotland, and there's one big mountain there. So it's like, there you go. It's like, it's pretty simple concept really, start the bottom.
Yeah.
But, it's like, it's that's what, it just seemed that's the sort of, to keep it simple, keep it simple, stupid, it's like, rather than having to like go to Scotland, which is like, where do you start,
Yeah.
How many people's on the shoot with you? Is it just yourself and a videographer, or?
Yeah, myself and Will Evans, who shoots all my stuff, and then we actually had Dan Milner along to do some photos as well.
Nice.
So he's in Sky, so we just popped over to come and do some photos as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, just 3 of us, and that was it. We hadn't been there. I mean, I'd been there. We actually shot a long time ago. We shot a gravel video there, and then but nothing like obviously what we'd shot on the Kado. So we had a brief understanding of what it was, but I was just all like just usual Google images and searches, and that was it. We went there and just figured it out as we do. We've done it before, so it's I feel like that's one of the strong things that getting to an area and then just figuring out what you can and can't do, and that's sort of what I say in the video. Really, it's just it's not as much for me as the riding, but it's a very big part of it. I get excited when I go to a new area and I start looking. It's just like, oh, hang on, that looks like that could maybe link into that, and if I come off this, and there's not like it's not like a big project where we go in there, we dig stuff and move stuff around. Like people joke about my setups, they're like literally dig a little bit with my foot and just like, she'll go, be right. So it's like, do you want to have a go? It's like, no, let's get a camera going, let's do it. It's pretty low tech,
pretty raw.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it like that. It's great. Yeah. That's how I like to ride.
I mean, visually, like super impressive up there. Like big boulder fields. As I say, you go up it, looks pretty cool, and then you're kind of coming down a river.
Yeah. I mean, I guess other people would tackle it differently, but yeah, it's pretty legit up there. It's heavy going. People get surprised when you're turn up on a bike certain places. It's like,
I was going to ask, there's a couple of bits in there where you're doing some pretty hefty moves off fallen trees. Obviously, well, not obviously, but I guess sometimes it doesn't go right first time. And some of these moves have quite big consequences, maybe not just for you, but for the poor old bike as well, right? And I think I remember seeing, I can't remember what the video is called, but where you're in Spain dropping off those buildings, watching the forks and everything.
The triple death drop.
Yeah. And just thinking about stuff like that, and then thinking, well, if you're only there for a really sort of condensed amount of time, how do you sort of navigate the risk and I suppose keeping everything rolling in order to kind of tick it off? Because you don't want to have to keep going back and forth to finish it.
I mean, we cover ourselves with that really. I just have a spare bike.
Okay.
Simple as that. I mean, it's not necessarily my spare bike, but there is a spare bike just in case, because if you're on Aaron and you haven't, if something happens, it does happen, you know. It did happen a little bit, but nothing too catastrophic. But all of a sudden, if you do like a lever or something, simple, that's easy to do when you've got a really heavy bike. And the thing, just to probably go off on a bit of a tangent, but the thing with the e-bikes compared to, from a filming aspect, and this we're talking just a filming aspect, it's when everything's going right, it's pretty much similar. But when it goes wrong, you've all of a sudden got a lot of weight that you need to deal with. And that can be in quite a compromising position where you might, I always try to, like, if there's a bit sketchy, I always try to think, right, if this goes the way I don't want it to do, where am I going to be? Where's the bike going to be? That's just something that do automatically, because you sort of need to have an exit plan, in a way, so to speak. But with the e-bike, if you get that like above your head and it's in a bit of it's a lot of weight, it's going to come down on your head, and you do have to think about that. And the filming days on the e-bikes are arguably harder than on a normal bike.
Okay.
Because especially not for the out in the open hero stuff, as my boss calls it. Sorry. But like more for the stop and reset ones.
Okay.
Like, one of the scenes in the video that, you're having to like do multiple times.
Yeah.
In a real world, just some of that stuff you're just not going to do first time. Yeah. Or you might do, and then you might take it, or you might go back, could blow up in your face. So you could hit it first time and you do it. It's sort of like, it's good in some respects, but then it's just like, well, we're not trying hard enough then. But it's, my foot still hurts from that log drop.
Oh, does it?
Oh, massively, yeah. I do shout and I just say, I don't know if I can do this anymore. It's not because I don't want to do it anymore. It's because I can't take that hitting my foot anymore. Because it was like, I'd already actually damaged it when I went to Idol's gig down here 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I went over to collect Chris. It's like, is this Queen Square. And I was like, yes, I was here in the mosh pit for idols.
Damaging your foot.
Looked a bit different.
Yes. Different battle.
Yeah. You say in the VO as well, as part of this, you still like to push yourself. Has that changed as you've got older?
No, I think there must be like some inner drive there that keeps me wanting to do it. You know, I think I enjoy just going out for a ride, but it never really ends like that. Really always ends in like just doing some technical stuff, which is probably just been drummed into me from my trials days, you know.
Okay.
Because I obviously did best part of 10 years as a natural trials rider, competition trials rider, going to world champs and stuff. And in between all that stuff, I rode quite a lot of motorbike trials, and like representing Yorkshire and stuff. So could half get by on a motorbike, you know, until I ended that and just started concentrating on push bike stuff. So yeah, I guess that's just, I enjoy finding tricky stuff and just going over it and doing it multiple times.
And would you say you've got a slightly different style to a lot of trials riders, in the sense that you don't seem to sort of stop, balance, hop around? You sort of, it's more about flow and precision. Is that fair to say?
Even when I was doing like competition stuff, I tried to keep like that sort of stuff down to a minimum, you know, the old hobby stuff, which obviously sometimes was not the best for results.
I was going to say, did they like shoot in the foot a little bit there?
Yeah, a little bit, but I was like thinking, and like not going for stuff, some people would go in and like if there was a tricky bit, they'd go in, they'd put the foot down, drag it up, and it just looks shit, you know, ugly, you know, don't like ugly riding, it's not my thing, you know. But then I'd just come in flat out and just crack on, and it like, you know, like, just like, you need to calm down with this, Chris. Just like, no, because eventually it'll just start all happening. Yeah. And then I'll be at top and I won't have to do that. And like, you know, my riding was always slightly different. There's a couple of us, like probably coming from a motorbike background as well, you know, that we had a bit more flow. Yeah. And that's carried on all the way through. You know, I'm like hypercritical about my riding. Filming now as well, it's not like photos where you can sort of get away with it a little bit, or, you know, but even then, if you ask Steve Burr about like he'd be like, oh, just sort of stand on there and set it up. Just like, but how have I got here, Steve? And he's just like, well, it doesn't matter. It's a photo. Yeah. And he'd be like, well, I'm not, if I don't get there under my own steam on my wheels, that photo's not happening. And he would just get so frustrated, or like, you could set that up. It's just like, no, I'll just do it again. You know,
yeah,
and then
we'll Steve has told me about this.
Yeah. Just like, fuck, I'm not a bullshit, you know. It's like, even video now, like I want, if there's a line in there that's done, I've ridden it. Like that's that's, I can stand by that. You know?
Are you watching back as you go? So you're happy with it, or is it not so much?
50-50, to be honest. It's weird, but it probably sounds weird, but if it feels right to me, and I'll be just like, even if it's like ragged, or like what some people, you know, like a bit ragged for me sort of thing, I sort of quite like that as well, a bit raw, a bit like, you know, but if it feels good, and I don't need to see it, you know, because in my head I've done it how I want it. Yeah. And if it looks how it does, you know. As long as like Will hadn't fallen over, which has happened a couple times, where it's like the famous like, oh, I didn't realise you were going to go for it. It's just like, what do you think I'm doing here? I'm just going to stop, you know, like, oh, you know. But then sometimes it can be funny where you're doing it for a long, like certain. There was one for a different video I did for Whyte, and we were doing it over and over again, and it wasn't. It's just one of them. We started. And there was it was so much going on, like, that you couldn't really get unless you know, like, were looking really, like, switch pedal stuff, like weird timing and, like, really just fucking awkward shit, you know, like, going on. And I did it. I was just like, you know what, I'm pretty much getting over this now. Like, I don't think it's even that strong anyway. I just got into a battle, you know, with it, and I just wanted to do it. Like, video aside, this is like, I'm not having it, you know. So, and I ended up dropping. I'm just thinking, oh, I've got it this time, and I did it. And then I was riding out, and I was like, I could see Will in like my professional vision, and then he just like trips and falls on his ass as I'm just finishing it. I've just done the hard bit, like, and I'm just riding out like along this little beam, and then I just see Will going like this with his camera out of my eye. I'm just thinking, fuck, like, you know, I've just spent like an hour trying to do this, and the only time I do it, Will's just falling on his ass. But we look back at the footage and we're just like, it's actually really funny because it's like, and we just left it in. I just left it in, and it was like, but that's just one of them frustrations about filming, like if you ask anybody that does a similar sort of thing to what I do, it's you sometimes get into them battles and it's like you do it and then some, that's just I guess it's the fun of it all, isn't it?
I guess if you've been working with Will for a little, is he your main videographer, has been for a while? Do you sort of share a sort of creative vision, or does a lot of it come from him? Does a lot of it come from you? Where does it merge?
I think we've worked, it's almost like we don't, Will throw stuff out there, I'll throw stuff out there, or we'll find something, and then it'll be like, well, sometimes there's just certain things that you just can't get a camera in amongst it to capture it how you'll do. So if there's something that I find and it's like a bit difficult or whatever, and Will's like, I can't justify it or like get in to do it, it's justice. I'm just like, just leave it then, because there's no point,
Right.
It's a cool thing to ride, or whatever, and then he'll find something that's just like. And then it'll be the other way around. I'm just thinking, well, it doesn't. What does it really add to the party, But then it's just like we have a conversation about it, and then we'll, depending on what it is, we'll have a little run through, and I'll be like, just so I know where he is when I'm doing something, because if he's not there when I'm doing something, like if he's not in an area where I can see him, out on the side of my eyes, then there's no point me carry on, or we just have a little bit of an unwritten rule. You just shout and just go, like just stop,
Does he ride as well? Does he do trials riding? Like, what's his background?
BMX mostly. Yeah, he started doing more. It was like when we first met, he was doing more BMX videos and stuff, which is really cool because I love that feel, that all that movie stuff. I really love that because it feels like you're getting in amongst it and you can see it. But yeah,
I was going to ask about influences and stuff because there is obviously a clear sort of BMX influence in there. You do a cool sort of wall ride on that cliff, things like that. Are you drawing inspiration from anywhere else?
I guess like earlier it would have been like classic old school motorcycle trials, which is probably like quite obvious in my riding at times. I rode BMX for quite a while, got quite into that for a bit, so that's sort of something I was always into watching. When we were younger, we'd like go to trial stuff and then just come back and watch. We never used to watch pushback trials because it looks a bit quirky, doesn't it? But like, BMX was quite a big influence, I guess. Skating as well. Some of my favourite like edits have been skate edits. I just like the whole and sometimes it's probably more for as much the filming and the way it comes, where it's brought it together as much as like, the actual stuff that's going on. Because obviously originally when I first started my videos, I did all the editing. It was all like just footage only, a lot of it. And I'd press gang my mates to come and do a little bit, I'll just set up tripods and do it all myself, then whack it all together and just put it up there. And, but it's definitely easier when you don't have to think about that. You just have to think about the riding side of it, that's for sure.
Yeah. We should probably talk a little bit about you and your e-bike journey. You've been on for quite a while, right?
On e-bikes?
Yeah.
So it would be... Yeah, when I first started riding for GT, so that was on there for 2 or 3 years, then been on Whyte, so this is my 3rd year on Whyte, I believe. So yeah, so a little while. My first actual riding on an e-bike was Cannondale.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I borrowed one, and then it was like, oh yeah, these are pretty interesting, totally not really, never ridden one before, got it, just went out riding, did a little video for a little project, and it's just that, do you know what, my take on it, it's a different bike. That's all it is. It's like everything else, it's just different, It's like fixies, BMX, they just do different things, Even within the e-bikes, like even within that now, there's different, like lightweight ones, like full fat ones and all that. It's like, just feels like there's a bit of a label race at the moment, like figuring out what it all is. But I love them, absolutely love them. And like, I'm sure a lot of your guests love them as well who've been on. I think most people do if they've had a go on one. It's, it opens doors, and makes certain things like, if you're going out for a Sunday blast with your mates and they've all got the same bike, it's brilliant, They'll take you further, faster, it's a different thing, like it, and it gets people out on bikes that wouldn't normally get out on one. And that's not bollocks in that. That's like real, There's people out there that just wouldn't be bothered.
Mm.
And like, even for me, it was like through a couple of the winters, it's like, I mean, I like riding in wet, you know, I love it. It's great. But like riding on an e-bike in the wet, it's really good fun, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's not the difference between going out and not for me, but definitely makes it more
good
fun.
motivator,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
it's like, it's brilliant. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, I think like it's just, I don't know what to say really. It's like I'm solid with what I believe. You know, they're just brilliant things. You know, really good. And they're only going to get better, aren't they? As well, they are getting better.
Yeah.
Like in the short time,
Quickly.
Yeah.
From like a normal riding point of view, you know, it's quite easy for, I guess, a normal person to be like, oh yeah, like an e-bike, you go further, faster, longer, all that sort of stuff, and you know, they ride pretty good for the most part and stuff. But when you watch what you're doing on any bike, like you're hopping up, you're jumping off things, you're going up steep stuff. That's another like, well, I don't know, like 8-9 kilos on a normal bike, right? How does it change the dynamic of what you're doing on a bike? Or are you just, I don't know, you super hench? Does it not matter? I don't know.
So look at no, I've never been like that. I've never been super or whatever you said. You know, it's. I mean, yeah. I mean, people say to me like, you know, oh, it's you're doing it on an e-bike, you turn it onto boost and it's a piece of piss. For what I do, it doesn't work like that. You know, it really doesn't. It enables you power through stuff differently. You know, but you still got to like understand and work out how to, you know, power is nothing without control, you know, like, and you still need to get that power down, you know, you need to turn it off as well at times and then back on. And it's like, you know, you need to be, it's a bit of a learning curve because there's a lot going on there, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Because you've got your modes, you've got your gears, and there's you know, like there's a lot of variables there. You know, and even I'm still learning about all that, you know, and how you can do all that, which is another like facet of like riding e-bikes, which is quite sort of deep into it, I guess. You know, a lot of people probably don't even get that far into it, but yeah, it's they're really, it's like a lot of things. They're you know, they are amazing, but like filming some of the stuff, I've had my hardest days filming on e-bikes. You know, like that's you know, definite.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, it's a funny old thing, really.
I mean, surely if you're hopping up something that's chest height, you're hopping up another, I'd say like 8-9 kilos. Like, is it not more difficult?
Yeah, I mean, definitely some things are definitely more difficult, you know, because you have got that weight. But it's just how you use it. You know, it's like I was sort of talking to somebody the other day about it, which is one of the things that I think. I mean, I've got a bit of a shoulder problem at the moment, but it's not from an e-bike. It's from, well, it is. I did it on an e-bike, but it's from a sort of a crash that I sort of had. But it could have been fucking any bike. It wasn't really to do with the bike. You know, it's just one of them. But I've noticed when I do certain things on my bike, i.e. moving it around, you know, if you put the weight of my bike, a normal e-bike, whichever e-bike, on a bar in a gym, which I've never really been to, but you know, I realise they do exist. You know,
yes.
If you put weight on a bar and then start throwing it around and picking it up, trying to get it over a gate, move it through difficult bits, you'd be tired, wouldn't you? You know, that's a lot of weight on your shoulders and upper body, like, you know, compared to a normal bike. It's like if you come from a push bike background that's non-e-bike, and say you come from like a motorbike background, and then you sort of like think like a trials bike or whatever, the weight of that is not in between, but sort of close-ish.
Yeah.
You won't get a motorbike trials bike and start putting it on his back wheel to get through gates and everything. You'd figure it out differently, wouldn't you? But when you come from a normal background, like a normal analog bike, you just pick it up like a normal bike, or try to put it in your car and everything. I don't think people are thinking about that. Now, when I come to gates now, I'm thinking about that. I normally like do an Enduro, come and then bring it back, put it on the back wheel. But like if you just stop there and go, ugh, you just got to handle them differently, you know. It's so, and then back to your point. Sorry, digress. You just need to work with the weight and the suspension, like you do on a motorbike and a normal bike. It's like it's all there until it goes wrong. Then you're in a world of shit.
Do you think it opens up terrain a bit more, or in a different way?
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, it opens it up in a different way. You know, even when we were shooting this last video, like you can cover ground as long as it's not like mentally tricky. You can cover ground so fast, you know, with a lot less effort. Like what it brings to me is that if I go for a ride, I can get from here to there fresh, and then I'll have a little play there.
Yeah.
And then I can go over there and do the same again, and I can just go, do you know what? I've never been down there, actually. Sometimes you might think on a normal bike,
then I've got to ride back.
Can't be arsed going down into the bottom of that valley, because if there's no there, I've just still got to come back. But that's like, I guess that's laziness or whatever. But for me, it's like I've done my time, you know, doing all that stuff, you know. These are brilliant, you know, but who knows where it's going to go, you know. I feel like I don't know, it's a funny one. I have a lot of, like, we chatted on the way here today. It's like saying, when I shot the Whyte, a T140 edit, which was the last analog video I did, I got back onto that, and I was like, oh God. Everybody's felt it.
Yeah. Like the brakes are dragging. Like something's gone wrong.
What's going on here? It's just not working.
Yeah.
It's not how it felt, is it? Or what have I done to my legs?
Yeah,
and all that. And then I got into it, and I was just like, oh wow, I can bunny hop again. It's like the thing that I was quite known for, being able to bunny hop. Like it's not something you really do on one of these, really, you know. But yeah, it's like it, and I was like, oh wow, this is mint, you know. Like these are really good fun, but it's not that. It's just that bikes are good fun, you know.
Yeah.
And it's, you get back into it, and then it's like you jump back on your bike. It's like, oh, this is good fun. It's like, it's, you know, back to the point. It's just a different thing.
Is there anything you do with the setup of the e-bike for the videos that you're doing? You know, I'm thinking suspension, damping, air springs, tires, inserts, even like motor modes. Like, do you have loads of overrun? Do you take the over and off? Like, how do you sort of set it up?
Probably the wrong person to ask, really. I'm useless at setting bikes up.
There we go.
Yeah. Short answer.
From the factory.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do mess around with mods a little bit. I never run overrun.
Okay.
No, never do it. No.
Okay.
Very rarely boost mode, to be fair. And on the log drop that we did in the video that I was having issues with on that video, I was like turning it right down. Just because the bark on that thing was just so delicate. You know, you needed to have like, you know, really want to be able to feel what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
I had a couple where it's like, because on an e-bike, when they spin, they go, don't they?
Yeah.
So if you're like dropping off a log, it's funny because that I was like looking at the bark thinking, I have not got many times at this. This is like low number tackle, you know, like as soon as that bark goes, we're out of here. First time went in, bark comes off top, lands on bottom like a sack of shit, all bark disappears. I'm just like, oh, here we go, fasten ourselves in. This is going to be a walk, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, just I do a little bit of playing around with it. Normally leave my bike set up pretty much like my bike is super soft.
Okay.
Like probably too soft a lot of time. I'm not sure why that is, but because it's almost like the opposite when I first started riding suspension bikes, because obviously I'd come from a full rigid background, and it's just like, what are these things? You know, we don't want any of this, you know. If I want to ride it,
your energy,
just,
right?
Yeah, let's turn everything off, you know, pump everything up, you know, let's get it rock hard. And that's how I sort of used to do it. And then I was like, started, you know, like racing a bit of downhill. So I got a little bit of like people jumping on my bike and going, what the hell? You know, these things need to work because that's there for a reason, you know. I remember G. Atherton coming across me once and were like, he looked at my bike, you just like taking my bike out as people doing this. It's like, what pressure you got in your tires? I'm just like, I don't know, I feel it. And it's just like, there's like, you know, like
double ways, right?
I've done like, double, like literally double. And it's just like, no, you want to be down here somewhere. I'm just like, what? Crazy. I did it. And I'm just like, oh, right, yeah. So I think that was like the first time I'd really had any like introduction that somebody knew what they were talking about to like, right, suspension's there. Then that was like thinking, well, motorbike suspension's not rock hard. And you run that, you know, trial stuff, that's always really, really soft. And I think you're you know, like, depending on what you're riding, like when I was riding, so I've just moved. So my old ground, which a lot of people see on my Instagram stuff, I'm like Shipley, always in the back, always muddy, always raining, just super soft all the time, you know, because it's working for you, you know, grips a lot better. And that's just, my bike's pretty soft, really.
Same for tyres, or are you... I only asked because I did a video with Billy Bolt and Brendan.
Yeah.
And I've never ridden or seen anyone ride hard enduro or anything like that before, and I couldn't believe how soft Billy's tyres were.
They just have a moose in.
They have a moose in, yeah. But the stuff he was hitting and how he's doing it, and then watching him, sort of what you were saying about the weight of the bike and how you ride it. Billy's a big lad.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
He can pretty much pump a motorbike.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to see.
They just become weightless.
Yeah, but it just made me think of you and what you do and how you're doing that sort of stuff.
It's crazy. Like the video that I did, where Billy actually sort of cut his teeth pretty much at Parkwood Off-Road Centre. Did a big step there, and it's a big old fella, but you don't like feel like a big, a kick into it. Big old step, and it's if you ride them right and you hit them right, it's like they just become sort of weightless, really, which is strange. Crazy. Well, they're weightless until it goes wrong, and then it's like it's just a battle, It's
comes
like
crashing down.
There's a lot of weight because that goes on your feet as well when you're trying to save it. All of a sudden you've got a lot more weight if you're coming down and you're falling. You land on that. Yeah, you've got your weight of yourself and weight of a bike on top of you as well.
So you're not going crazy low pressures on tires and stuff like that, really.
What I generally do is get on my bike at the start of the day, go, that's really soft. So I'll pump them up, get out riding. Bloody hell, who's pumped these tires up the rock hard? Let them back down again. You know where this is going, don't you? Yeah, let them back down again. And then get back on it next day and think, bloody hell, the tires have gone down. And then it just starts again, it's literally what I do. And I know because I'm like a bit weird in the brain. I always put a certain, I'll put 8 strokes in. Something like that. Yeah. Just never touch the front ever. Don't even know, But always, I probably put my tire up every time I go riding. And
I'm just so surprised to hear that.
And then let it down every time.
Just the way you ride, how precise it is. I just assume it's going to kind of then carry over to setup and stuff like that. But.
No, not really. I mean, if I notice there's an issue, if, say, I'm dropping onto something that's pretty accurate, like that log thing, if you're there, it's a little bit different to when you see it on the video because it's very awkward angle. Yeah. Trying to know how it's going to glide in the air off it, and landing on it and trying to almost land horribly in a way, landing like a bag of shit. Yeah. Because to let it almost landing both wheels, almost like how you'd not want to land. Right. But landing heavy. Yeah. So it sticks rather than landing prancing onto it sort of thing.
Like a cat and then slide off.
Yeah, you just want to land on it heavy and make sure of it and then really stand on it sort of thing. I think I put some rebound on or something for it just to stop it stop it bouncing a little bit, but I probably took it straight back off or not. It's something that people are surprised about it, but I'm not. I know what it all does. Yeah. That's not like me.
Well, clearly, because it's you need it when you need it.
Yeah, I know when it all sort of does. Okay. I just if it's not, I'll know if it's not working right. Yeah. But
do you miss sort of the more simple days of a rigid fork and a HS33 brake and all that jazz?
Yeah, sometimes. I think. Well, sorry, we started talking about what we were talking about this morning, and about the analog, which obviously that's in the middle of everything. And I was thinking, I wonder if this is going to be the last analog video that I'm ever going to do. It's a bit. I was well, if it is, it sort of is. It's enjoying. It's just bike riding. End of the day, it's And I was thinking, the other day I was oh no, I'm going to order. I was ordering a hardtail the other day. I'm just I think I saw somebody on one the other day. And I was just yeah, I think I need another one of them in my life. Just get an hardtail and just have a ride on that. Because I rode one last year. I was riding one and we did a video for Renfrew where I rode hardtail, T140, Whyte T140, and my ebike, all in back-to-back days. Yeah, just for for their pedal, their flat pedal launch, and it was. Yeah, so I'd done I think we did the e-bike thing first, got that away because that's what I was actually riding, I'd just done a video and that was shit on it. And then next day it was back again. I was oh God, getting used to it and trying to do, straight away. I've always been sort of good at getting my head around stuff fast, different bikes. But that was a bit of a couple of close ones, and then got it. And then I got into, we did the hardtail one and it was at a local spot, which I knew pretty well. And Will's we just need just come down here fast And he's like, do you want to have a ride? And I'm just like, no, I want it to be a surprise. Fuck. I really got hurt that day. Just came flat out and just pedaling as hard as I could. And I'm just like, oh, this is fast, like, you know. And then it was like, fucking walking back up, it's just like, oh, that is such a buzz, you know, like, because it's just feedback straight away. It's like instant feedback, so different, you know. But yeah, it was good. Does that answer your question? Was there even a question?
It was a statement, rhetorical perhaps. You sort of got into the whole trials thing. Am I right in thinking your dad was competing in motorbike trials and you'd go along and kind of need something to do, so you'd hop on a bike, is that right? And then you got into motorbike trials yourself? If we go back to the start, how did it sort of kick off?
Yeah, my dad was a motorbike trials rider. He did that from as long as I can remember. So that was like me throwing on the petrol tank, hands on the bars, you know, riding around on that. Obviously, that's always going to stay in your brain, you know, your dad behind you doing all that. And then that led to me getting some like bastardized BMX with like a small sprocket on, you know, you know, like welded on somehow. I've just got it like a little low gear on it, like a little, I think they used to like call them trackers, I think, or something like that, you know. And that used to get taken to, so you'd be riding a trial, my bike would get thrown on with him, I'd just go with him, trying to emulate, you know, like messing around and stuff. As a lot of kids did, you know, back there in Yorkshire.
PT as well, right? PT as well.
Yeah. So all that stuff, that led on to me getting all right on a push bike. And then I sort of had a bit of a flirt with motorbikes. A TY80, got on that, fucking did the straight back with throttle, threw a load of nettles, through a fence. So sort of put that on back burner for a while.
Put you off a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't the experience that I was hoping for. So I sort of put that down for a bit. And then I was either got into like fell run or something weird. Yeah, no, sorry
Quite
about
a change,
that. Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, so then, started running push bikes and then push bike trial stuff, not really with any sort of direction and any just riding because it was fun. So where are we? That was then. And then started working in a bike shop. And that's where I got like a first like sort of small sponsorship for that type of thing. I was doing motorbikes alongside that. That's when I was like, so I was doing like 50-50 really. Push bikes, so I'd go riding motorbikes. Obviously that I needed to have my dad there for that. Then when I'd come back, put motorbike down, let my dad wash that, and I'd go out and push bike with my mates. And that's what happened until it got to like a bit of a, rode a bit of motorbikes for like pretty half decent from Yorkshire, like half decent, like half
high
decent.
caliber there.
Yeah. They had like Dougie Lampkin lived like
course,
5 miles down the road. So like the area around that, the riding, just even at club level, sorry, is it's all right. It's pretty decent, you know. So basically, what happened? The turning point of it all was like there was an event put on, a pushback trial put on by a local motorbike club, and everyone was just like, "Oh, should we go to this? It'll be a laugh," sort of thing. Just like, yeah, that'd be all right. I was on a Marin team issue with a small sprocket on, single speed, nice. Converted. With Pace RC30 forks on it. Wish I had that bike now, actually.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. So I went there, and we were just like taking the piss like cheeky northern lads, and went into tent, and we got two lads there, and the guy behind the thing, because we're signing on, sorry. It's like, what course do you want to ride? I'm just like, hardest going, please. And then these two lads, the Martins.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was the first time I met Martins, just like, oh, look at this. And I went outside. My dad's like, have you seen sections? I was like, no, it's be fine. He's like, they're really hard. And I'm like, when I had a look, I'm just like, drop it down one, you know, like drop it down a class. Because all my mates were riding that anyway. So we did that. I know. I won that class and I finished the day. Went over to see the two clowns. Martin Ashton's sat up top. I think he's just been through a section, done really well because Martin's fucking amazing. And then Ozzy was in the section.
Right.
And I was like, oh, your mate's just cleaned this, like to him. Never met him before in my life. I'm just like cutting him off, like just taking the piss. So yeah, and then sort of like, it wasn't even that long after that we got really good friends, really, to be honest. And then Ozzy started coming up to me. And obviously, like, we've been best mates. He was best man at my wedding was Ozzy. And obviously Martin's like my hero sort of thing, you know. He's always there. They basically then just sort of took me under their wing and, you know, then like got some sponsorships and stuff. And that was the sort of start of a semi-long career, I guess.
You were British champion 6 times, is that right?
Yeah, I
and
think
you
so,
competed
yeah.
obviously like world champs and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
you were pretty handy. And beating those guys, I presume, along the way.
Yeah, if you ask Martin, he'd probably tell you a different story. He was like busy doing something else.
Yeah,
But yeah. It's not like I've got on my mum and dad's fridge, there's still like 2, after a trial you get like all the numbers up and everything, you know, like what you got on each thing. And the one I beat him in like a world championship in Belgium, I got that up, and my mum and dad have still got that in their fridge now.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think I sent Martin a picture of that not so long ago, actually. Yeah, it was different times really. The events were really good. I enjoyed doing it all and did all right. But the world champs were brilliant because you go away for a month with your mates, riding in Spain and France and Czech Republic, stuff that I'd never really been to before. And that was like, it was like, you know, it's mint. Like it were really, really good times. I think like Martin stopped doing that, and I think I went away the year after when they'd sort of stopped, think, oh, they weren't going or something. And we'd already started like filming loads because I was riding a lot of BMX then. We just started, not for anything, not for any particular reason. We just used to go out with cameras. I was always into cameras, video cameras and stuff, photo stuff. We'd be doing that. And then I went to the trial World Championships, and I went into some sections and I was riding, and I was like, got halfway around, I was just like, I do not give a fuck. If I have to clean this, 5 it, whatever, do not care.
Really?
Like, and it's the first time it hit me pretty hard. I was just like, I actually don't care, you know. I'm not bothered anymore.
Yeah.
Just hit me like it was that clean cut, that World Championships for me. And I never, after that one, I never did a trial after it. That was it, last done.
Wow.
I'm out of here. So, and that was like, I was just enjoying traveling and filming.
Yeah.
So, and that was like, just do that bit. It's more fun.
At what point did you sort of realize or decide that you were going to be able to make a career out of riding, whether it was competitions or not? And was there a backup? You know, what were you doing outside? Was there anything going on that you could have fallen back on if the riding didn't work out? Or
yeah, no, I didn't. No. So basically, like I was working through all the competition side of things. I was like working in the bike shop till I was quite old, actually. Pretty well, not old, but you know, like quite a long time. For all the competition stuff, I was working in a shop. They were sort of sponsoring me. I was getting as much from working at the shop as what I was getting from like riding side of things as well. And it worked quite well. I say I worked at a shop. I did like 3 or 4 days a week, you know. And in a bike shop, it's not Wall Street, is it? You know what I mean? So it was, we were just making ends meet and just having fun, really. And then it sort of got to a point when I stopped riding competition stuff. I was just like, yeah, this, like, something needs to happen here, really. I either need to stop sort of riding and work full time, or something needs to happen and I'll ride full time. And that's like basically when I signed. So sort of riding for CSG UK. So I was like riding for like Mongoose. Just started making a transition from riding full time trial stuff to like more like suspension bikes and stuff. I was getting a little bit like a jump bike and all that stuff. Started through Nick Larson, who we just spoke about.
Yeah.
You know, so Nick was a massive part of me getting sponsored and figuring out the whole getting paid to ride a bike thing.
Because I guess back then, not having the competition, that would have been a huge part of the sponsorship deals previously, right?
Only. But I think that obviously the Martins had paved the way because they'd basically gone from trials sort of sponsored in a fucking wood field in the middle of nowhere. A couple of people watching, who cares? You know, I'm champion. So what? You know, it doesn't. You know, like seriously. You know. And then they'd started doing like demonstrations. Martin was riding for Volvo Cannondale, I think at the time. He rode for Scott for a bit, and then he obviously started for Giant. And when they were both doing that, obviously, then the bike shows and all that stuff. I mean, I'm probably out on my timings, but it's all like, it was a mixing pot of time there somewhere. Yeah. But that's all that stuff were happening. So obviously then it was like, right, mountain bikes are getting involved in it and realising trials riders bring a value because you can put them in somewhere the same size as this room and they can draw a crowd in to our setup, you know. So they were doing that. And I was like, I was doing demos, but I was doing them at trials like NEC motorbike show,
Okay.
like doing 10-day batches at them, like with Dougie and stuff for their indoor trial.
Yeah.
So they'd have like a promo area, like doing demos and stuff. And like, I'd be like, I'd be doing some stuff there and they'd just have massive crowds, like,
That must have been cool.
Fuck yeah, 10 days. We were there, normally there 10 days. We'd have like 4 shows through the week and 5 in the weekend, just doing that, like, and just have probably 4 motorbike riders, and like me and Eddie and Tung used to do it a lot of times. So me and Eddie used to be pushback riders. So then we'd just fuck about and then have a race at end, and people loved it. And the crowds were massive, it was always really good fun. So we were doing that stuff. They were doing more, Martin was like super corporate, Ashton, sorry. He was like doing a lot more sort of corporate stuff with his touring car days and all that stuff. To digress. But yeah, then I guess I started doing video stuff with Nick. Fixie, I think, was one of the first ones. Got a shitload of views.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was like...
Is that nearly 1 million now?
Yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this Fixie stuff? I didn't even know there was a scene.
Yeah.
Never seen it. Nick just sent me this bike, said, can you just do like a video on this? And I'm just like, yeah, a bit weird, but yeah, I'll do it. Did a video, and it didn't take me too long to do it, got there. And I put that out and it went mental, and people were just like, how'd you do that? I'm just like, I'm a trials rider. I just got on it and just did what I think's fun. I'm a BMX and trials, like, just went straight across onto it, did all that stuff, and it was just like, oh wow, I didn't even think there was even a thing there. So that kicked off, and then I can't remember I did another video, and then Nick's like, right, we need to get you on Mongoose, and that's when that saga started, really. And that's when we had a couple of meetings. I think I went to Eurobike and saw like the boss of Mongoose at the time. We sat down and I put like a big plan together for the year, what I wanted to do. I literally had, the plan was, what I had, it's totally like never going to happen, but like each month I'd do like, I had all their bikes out of the catalogue. Each month I put a picture of the bike in different bikes or different variations. This video is going to be like, BMX, this is why I'm going to do it. It's going to be like cyclocross bike, I'm going to go do the 3 peaks. It's like, fucking, really? It wasn't, I mean, I had intention there, but basically what happened, I got on board, full-time pay straight away, just like, January, just like, you'll be stopping work and then you'll be a pro bike rider, and it's pretty, it sort of made me feel pretty weird actually doing that, like going, it was like a bit, oh, bloody hell, never had this, and this is going to be my job, never.
Why was that?
I don't know, because I think I'd never really wanted to do it. It sounds ridiculous. Never something that I'd gone, right, I'm going to be a full-time bike rider. It's like, I didn't, I was happy doing what I was doing. I'm working at shop a bit, pissing around on my bike, doing all this, and it was like something I never really, it must sound mental that, but it was just something that I'd never really been bothered about, I think Ashton, I think he must have been leaving. I think he was leaving Volvo Cannondale, I think. And this is just to like show you how much I wasn't really that bothered. I think he was leaving Volvo Cannondale, and he was like, look, there's going to be an opening, I'm leaving. Like, do you want me to sort of like, do you think do you want to have a talk about it or something like that? I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not driving around Europe all the time doing like demos. Literally, I mean, I don't know if it, like it might have never happened, but it was still, like there, and I was just like, I know what you do. You're driving here and there and everywhere all the time. I'm just like, so that's not my kettle of fish. I just wasn't really into doing demos, really, but it actually, like saying about it now, fucking hell, it'd have been amazing in a brand new
Volvo,
brand new 850 Volvo that I used to get all the time.
Yeah.
You've put together, quite a back catalogue of videos now. Are there any sort of that stick out as being particularly hard to create, or any that you're favourites, any sort of super proud of?
There's lots of little bits, I guess, certain things. Like, there's stuff that I look back, and I don't think there's any one particular video that I'm like, I mean, the one, the elephant in the room, was like Hill in Spain, because I really worked hard on that. Put a lot of time and effort into it. Did that, but that's obviously that was just one of them, really. But no, I mean, even that's like, I think like there's certain moves, like the hill in Spain down the, what I called it, a triple death drop.
God,
that was seriously like, I was shitting myself. Like Victor Lucas, who shot that video. The story was like, we were like looking for locations. I was used to go to like Malaga like early in the year because Victor was out there. I was getting to know a couple of people out there. So like start of every year, I'd go out for like at least 2 weeks, a month, a couple of times. Go out there and just do some riding, do some video with Victor. And Victor sent me a couple of shots and that were one of them. And sometimes you can't really tell scale, you know, like it's like, that looks sick. That's a bit of me, but I don't know whether it's on or not, you know, like.
Yeah.
So he gets there up to the actual spot. I looked at, and it's like you're not looking at it, you're like looking at it, and it's serious. Like it was big.
Well, because it looks gnarly on video, and you know, it's hard to make stuff look gnarly on video.
Yeah,
it's really gnarly.
There was a lot more going on there that doesn't really, because like the bits where I was landing on were like this wide all the way down. Because basically what it was like a gravel thing. So you put gravel in the top. That's that drop in the top.
Yeah,
and then it'd fall through the floor of every one of them, and then obviously they'd put a truck underneath the last drop. So there had to be a hole all the way through. So you had to keep on line. And that was all like stones everywhere, which just couldn't be arse clearing. It's just like, so, and I remember the funniest bit of that, honestly, was
health and safety.
No, they'd had a day off.
A few days.
Quite a lot. Yeah. So we got to that. He's like, oh, we got to have a look at it, but I don't know about it. I gets there and I'm thinking, that's pretty heavy, but if you could do it, it'd be amazing. So I was like, and I looked at the top of it and it's like a little chute and I'm just like, fuck, it's never going to be possible. You're not going to get through that chute. So there's no way to get on it. And I was like gutted. I was like, fuck. I'll tell you what, I'll run up and have a look. So I ran up and have a look and I'm just like, oh shit, it's on. Like it could be on. But it was like a 45-degree slope that you couldn't walk down, physically walk down to like measure where your head would be. To like, if you're on a bike, how do you know that you're going to be able to go through it?
Got the clearance.
But once you've gone, you're not stopping. You're either gonna, you know, ride away like, you know,
or get decapitated,
or like you're gonna hit your head pretty hard, and then you're gonna be like a bit sort of disorientated, and things might get a little bit, you know, exciting. So, in my infinite wisdom, I got my iPhone out and measured the gradient of it, and then there was like I found another bit of concrete slab that was over the other side of this quarry, same gradient. I was like, mint. Let's see if I can stop on it, how much control I'm going to have when my back wheel goes over. Because that was another thing. I was like, am I going to be able to slow down, or is it just going to be like, fucking fasten your seatbelts, let's crack on. And then I don't, for some reason, I think we were just on a scout. Don't think I had my bike with me. And we ended up going away. I don't know, it rained. For whatever reason, didn't end up doing that morning or day or something, or the sun was in one of them. It was something, so we couldn't do it there and then. And now I'm just like, fuck, I just want to I want to do it now. I need to do it now. Let's get it done, you know. Because I was just like, cannot go to bed tonight with that in my head, you know. But I think that's what happened. We either went away and we didn't go back that day, and then we went and looked somewhere else, and we ended up going out doing some stuff, and then I'm sure it was like the next day, and we went for coffee. And I'm just like, I can't have a coffee. There's no way I can have a coffee. Like, you know, I had some water or something. Because I knew we were going there to do it, essentially. And I was like, proper, like, actually nervous. A bit nervous, but excited as well. I was just like, fuck, I'll just do it. You know, I'll get it on with it. We'll do it if it works. Victor was actually really nervous. And he was like, I was like, fucking sort yourself out. You're making me nervous, you know, like. It's the first time like I'd really, you know, I mean, I've had other stuff like One with Will, but I won't go into that one because that was a bit scary as well. But on the end of water cycle, if you know which one I mean.
Oh, okay.
Over the archway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I clipped a pedal over that. But won't talk about that. Anyway. Yeah, so we ended up going and I measured it all out, got on my bike, went into it a couple of times, and I was just like, oh God, like, you know, that fit us, like, it was serious. And then it actually went fairly all right, you know, apart from a dab at the bottom, which is the worst dab I've ever had in my whole career. You know, it's like I wasn't going to do it again.
Still beating yourself up?
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah, it's horrible. I don't watch it often. I think I watched it a little while ago, and I looked at a dab, and I'm just like, oh God, nightmare. But you're not going to risk it again just for the sake of a dab, you know.
So that was a one-off, never to be repeated.
No, I wouldn't go near that thing.
It was the hill in Spain was, you know, obviously one of the bigger videos, you know, one of the biggest around. It's, you know, I've watched it loads of times. It's great stuff.
Pardon me.
I think the thing I always found interesting about your riding is you've got, like we sort of talked about earlier, you've got this particular style where you go like real fast down a trail, and then you just hop up onto something, and like you really mix up. It's not like traditional trials videos. Like
It's more dynamic, maybe.
yeah, it must be just fun to do. It's just I don't know. I don't know what my question is, but it's quite different to what everyone else has been doing. Like, how did you decide to develop that as? I know you said that was how you always rode, but
I think the format for the video stuff sort of started pretty much with Phil in Spain, really. I think that's pretty much how we, like trying to do like piece some sort of ride together with all this like technical stuff in, but not making it a trials video, because I don't, apart from a couple of early attempts, never really made a trials video, And
I was going to say, do you consider yourself a trials rider?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I am. But I don't know. I'd think like technical trail rider, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Very technical.
Well, I don't know. I enjoy, like, it's weird because I never used to do like cross country or anything. Never used to go for rides, any of that sort of stuff. That's only like later on in years. Actually going out and riding now. This sort of should be ridden, But like, I really just like riding super technical trail stuff, Like I do love that, like going for doing all that stuff. But obviously, like doing the smaller technical stuff, that's really good for filming stuff for my job, for Instagram stuff, But I really enjoy putting them little lines together, setting a little camera up and doing like a little line and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to sort of keep you honest and keep you fresh. Because if you're not, it's because I wouldn't put something scrappy out in any way, shape or form, really. I put crashes out and stuff, that's not a problem, but not like scruffy riding is what I wouldn't put out,
You've got a really high standard.
Pretty high. Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, that's not been, I just don't like scruffy riding, I mean, not me, looking at other people and just saying they've got scruffy riding style. It's not what I do. It's not that. It's like I'm like hypercritical about my own riding. Because I like all that. That's that's all the the switch-footed, no pedal back rule type of thing. Like setup stuff and being very particular about how bike moves and stuff. But that's just weird my head stuff, really. Well, it is. But
how do you sort of see the scene at the moment? Obviously, you've been doing videos for 15, 16 years, probably a similar time to, the Elephant in Danny McCaskill, a similar sort of career progression, I guess, in some respects. Do you guys like have a relationship at all? Or are you, like,
we're not seeing each other, if that's what you're saying.
Do you hang out? Do you ride together? Or is it
we're just, thing, we tried it, but it's a distance thing. I'd like to, Danny and myself are good friends.
Right.
Yeah, I think like it's, there's never been any sort of anything other than respect there, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're different riders. I think Danny's probably coming, I'd say with his later stuff now, like what he does at home, what I see him doing, what I know he does, I think he's sort of coming back round, like not coming back round, but coming more towards how I ride now, I guess, in a way. I mean, his early stuff was night and day to my stuff, I mean, I did used to ride quite a lot of street, but as soon as I saw him on a bike, I was like, fuck that, you can keep it. I'm going back to woods. But that's not a joke, by the way. Or is it? No, we don't really, I'd love to do something with Danny. It's always been talked around, we'd already, I send him a message every now and again, and we're just like, we need to get something done together. Because I think it'd just be funny, but I think there's so much respect there. It wouldn't be like a fucking dick swinging show, do you know what I mean? It'd be just like...
It'd be amazing. It'd be so cool to see.
Yeah.
Not the dick swinging show.
No.
Obviously.
That is available though. But,
but it feels like... did you guys actually meet when you worked on Martin's second road bike party video? Because you both...
for the first time?
Yeah.
No, we met for the first time, I believe... a Red Bull mini drum.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Was it a bike show somewhere, something or other? Can't remember where it was. Might have been at a bike show. It was definitely some sort of show. And then at the night they had a mini drum.
Okay.
That was hilarious, that mini drum thing. Yeah. I think that's when we first met. But no, I mean, obviously we sort of properly met with that. That was obviously a double-edged sword, let's say, with all that, you know. Obviously, it was a no-brainer for me and for Danny to do it. You know, it's really, really cool. Obviously, like, the situation was the worst ever, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Is there any other riders you sort of keep an eye on, watching out for, seeing what they're doing?
It's not that I don't watch. It's like I don't dive into a lot of riding videos, to be honest, really.
Okay.
I've never really gone for it, you know. Probably watch, if stuff comes up on YouTube, you know, there's certain people that I'll watch. I can't really think of off the top of my head, really. It's just so much stuff there, isn't there, now? It's mental, like, you know, it's... I watch quite a bit of, like, BMX stuff that comes up, because that's just, there's some insane stuff, you know. There's a lot of good riders out there, isn't there? I mean, it's not that I don't watch it. I just sort of, like, can't pick any particular person, because all the light lads I'll watch, you know, because it's always there's such crazy shit going on at the moment.
What about stuff like downhill? You know, you mentioned that you did a bit of racing very successfully, I might add.
Not successfully.
Pretty successfully. Are you keeping up with that sort of stuff? Do you follow
do I watch the downhill?
Yeah, do you follow it?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, to be fair, I sort of watch, and it's only like this last year I probably haven't gone to one.
Okay.
I normally try to get to them. To be honest, I love going, like seeing all them boys.
Yeah.
It's good to hang out with all them lads, you know, say hello and stuff. And it's always good fun, you know, have a drink or two, been known to, go and heckle a little bit. To be fair, the only stuff I really keep up with is like probably MotoGP and downhill, really. That's sort of the two things that I always try to keep on top of, yeah. But I mean, there's just so much stuff there now, isn't there? It is hard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What do you get to sort of outside of riding? Because obviously you can't ride 24/7. Is there anything else that are you quite creative in other ways? I don't know, like
DIY.
Yeah.
Yeah, semi-pro DIY. Yeah,
nice.
Pretty much. No. Yeah, I've got a little daughter, 5 years old, wife, and all that stuff going on. You know, like that's got a family, dog. And all that jazz, really.
Yeah. You say you just moved to the lakes.
Yeah, we moved. We moved from Yorkshire. Obviously, I've been there all my life. So we moved about 8 months ago. So we're like at bottom of Lake District now. So there has been like this last sort of 8 months has been like busy in a sort of different way in a way, because we've been getting used to the area, finding spots where you can and can't go, because that's, you know, when you've been in an area for such a long time, you know, these grey spots that people talk about, you know, what's grey and what's grey. And all that. So it's interesting to sort of like get into a different area and start finding new stuff for that. And obviously I've been quite busy at home getting everything sorted out. So we've got somewhere to live, because it was a bit of a wreck when we moved in. So we've been doing quite a bit of that. I try to. I've always been a bit funny with my riding. It's always been like I can ride every day. I never ride weekends because there's people about a lot of time, you know, try to avoid people at all costs. But try to ride every day, something or other. But then I could be sort of out of love with it and I'm not have to ride. You know, it's a funny old, I ride a lot more now than ever I've done in my life.
Okay.
Because I used to be really, really like quite well known for like just thinking, I just hadn't ridden for 2 weeks and then just get back on. But I've been riding a long time, so I think, you know, it's one of them, isn't it? It's like, I think so I always think of Ronnie O'Sullivan thing when somebody asked him, because he famously doesn't like warm up and stuff, and somebody said, "Oh, how come you're not on warm up table?" He's like, oh, I don't know how long he's been playing. He's been playing snooker longer than I've been riding for. So say like 30 years. But he's been been playing like snooker for 30 years. Do you think warming up's going to do anything? Do you know? It's like, you know, it's like, I always think that's quite fun. I always think, like, well, it's sort of in there. Do you know what I mean? If I have a bit of time off and I get back on my bike, you might be like, you might just need to like knock yourself about a bit, but it's there, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Before we let you loose on the donuts, obviously a big shout to Pip and Co on Park Street.
Oh yeah,
official donut supplier.
We do have a sponsor.
You got proper sponsors.
Proper sponsorship. Yeah. I was always interested in like if you could only have one bike from the current range of bikes that you have now, and one bike from the previous 20 odd years of competing. You can only have two bikes.
Actual bikes.
Yeah, so, would it be a Kado? Would it be the gravel bike? And then, somewhat from your career in the past.
100% Kado,
Okay.
all the way at the moment. And that's like, yes.
You're well into it.
Yeah, well into it. Yeah, 100%. And then a bike from the past that I'd have is my 26-inch, what was labelled a mongoose. It was actually a Megamo, full steel trials bike.
Huh.
Yeah, so the brakeless one, basically, in my video, that one.
Is in Step of Death, is that the one?
It was. It was in that, and then there was another brakeless one as well.
So I'd watched that video recently, and I just remember you saying, "I don't really like being on video. Don't really like talking to the camera." And here you are, all this time later.
Should have listened, shouldn't I? Myself.
What was it about that bike in particular?
Which one?
The Megamo or the
It was probably really shit, but I just enjoyed riding it. It was probably really bad angles and everything, but it was probably the bike that I had. I did so much stuff in that video. On that bike. Like so many videos, so much riding. I rode it at Worlds. I rode a load of street on it. And I don't know, I tried to find one, just never been able to find one. But they probably all snapped.
I was going to say, you must get through bikes all the time.
No, that's a misconception.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not heavy on bikes, to be honest. I'm really not. I try to look after my stuff because I believe, that it's like you look after it looks after you, doesn't it? You've got to be very careful about things in bikes because, but they are a sort of tool for me as well, in a way. So they're there to be used, and they do get, the nature of my riding technical lines and rocks and stuff. They do get scraped and stuff. But that's
a few war wounds. I noticed a few on this. Yeah,
it's on the side.
Fortunately,
yeah, but it's what it is, isn't it? I don't know. I try to protect them as much as possible. They're just there to do a job, aren't they? In the day, but it's a tool for the job. But I do love bikes, though. I look after them. It is actually a bit dirty today, but they're not normally.
All right, Chris, we'll wrap it up. Thanks so much for coming all the way down to Bristol. Really appreciate it. And obviously, Up and Over is on YouTube now. You can find it on your channel.
It's on Whyte.
It's on Whyte's channel.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Whyte.
Well worth a watch. It's a really cool, cool video. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations with that. Thanks for coming down. Thanks, obviously, to Whyte for sponsoring this episode of the podcast as well.
Yeah.
There will be another podcast on screen now for you to go and watch. It's probably really good.
Not as good as this.
Not as good as this.